Okay, so we really have to talk about this. Honestly, I covered this show from time to time, and honestly, for the last couple of episodes for this season, it hasn't necessarily been very good. But let me just say, Walking Dead, this point, I think it's the 10th episode of this season, season 7. It's been on for 7 years, guys. God, it's been one of the biggest shows of all time, honestly, cable wise. But, guys, episode 10 of season 7. Walking Dead has officially become must-watch television again. Now, I don't necessarily do reviews, so this is going to be just basically a discussion about episode 10 and basically where we're going from here now. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, there are spoilers ahead, just basically everything that we've seen thus far and everything. And honestly, this is just kind of, it's really late here, so I'm just going to basically talking, honestly, no real editing, just kind of going to throw this up there for anyone who wants to see it. So let me just start by saying that I was not necessarily expecting this episode to be any good. Like I guess like I have been watching it. I have this weird rule about watching a television show. If I get 4 seasons into a television show, I will keep watching it just because it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm in this to the end, right? Like we're in it to win it at this point, and usually that works pretty well. But honestly, guys, like the last part of this season hasn't been really good, and I would really kind of put that on the showrunners for the most part. This really worked in season 4, like halfway through season 4, where they were basically all out of the prison and they all got kind of separated. There was like a legitimate fluid reason for them to basically be separated. But regardless, The Walking Dead works really well as kind of a character piece, not necessarily a character piece as like one character or another, but like an ensemble cast type of concept. And we haven't really seen that a lot. They always take this like, oh, they're all separated, or we have like character-centric episodes for at least half the season. Not a good idea. And it's weird because a couple seasons ago, a couple years ago, I thought that would be a really good idea, but I guess it really wasn't. So I really wish that they would stop it. Maybe more videos on that later. But so this episode basically began with oh man, like, oh god, it began with King Ezekiel and all the people at the kingdom basically getting into like a confrontation with the people of the saviors, going into Rick and Co, going into the garbage kingdom, or the garbage people who live in the dump yard for whatever reason. I mean, like, that seems like a really tactical way to survive, I guess, because no one was going to go look at there, and you can just basically have endless space and probably endless resources for the most part, besides food. I don't really know, but honestly, guys, like, they took Rick, they put him in the freaking pit with the spike monster that you saw probably from the trailers or from the episode. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Honestly, look, the reason why this is a good episode without going into a whole lot of detail is the fact that it finally kind of upped the stakes in a way that was really interesting. First of all, with that whole garbage, like, utilized, weaponized zombie that we haven't necessarily seen before, neither in the comic books or in the live television series at all. I really hope that they kind of continue that same creativity going into the remainder of the series. Hopefully they do, but who knows. And then you also had like the great character moments between Carol and Daryl. Finally, some really good character moments between them. I know a lot of people who watch the show, those two are like the main focus, the main two characters that, if Carol dies, we riot. If Dwight dies, we riot. So we got some really good character development them, and maybe even kind of a love triangle between Carol, Daryl, and Ezekiel. And honestly, that's just really cool for me. Honestly, I don't think Carol and Daryl are actually meant for each other, but the fact that they have this really close bond and friendship is something that's really cool. So honestly, like, it's just so weird to me, considering the fact that this last part of the season has been kind of not terrible, but and also pretty much watchable, more so than most of season 6 in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Honestly, like, season 7 has kind of been dragging up into this point, and it's just so awesome to finally get everyone back and ready for action, and getting up into this like basically all out war with the survivors, or the saviors, I mean, and basically just letting it all go and having a narrative that flows in between multiple characters instead of one character per episode. Because look, as good as these people are, as good as they are, we just can't necessarily watch this stuff with one character, be it Daryl or Rick or Maggie or any of these other all awesome characters, but can they hold an hour television show or even longer? I don't necessarily think so. And honestly, that's just one thing I have to say is like the added time that we got for this episode. I think the first 3 episodes of this season are actually added time, but the added time we got for this particular episode, awesome. Just completely awesome. And honestly, like, we needed that time to actually kind of tell the story that they needed to tell in this episode. And I know the next episode is going to be an extended episode. Extended episodes haven't necessarily worked a whole lot this season, but hopefully we're going to see more and more of this stuff going forward if they can continue this pace, this kind of intensity, this kind of character-centric development and everything. And honestly, this isn't, like I said, it's not really a review episode. I'm not going to be reviewing the episode and tell you all what's all going on. I don't necessarily like doing reviews, but I just wanted to kind of put this out there in terms of like, I really like this episode. I feel like The Walking Dead has finally become something that's worth watching again. And honestly, as a fan, someone who's watched it since the very beginning it came out, and honestly, this show has gone through a lot of ups and downs. And personally, I just want to say that it's so nice to actually get a show that I really kind of feel excited to watch the next week. I don't watch a whole lot of shows from week to week. I guess the only 2 shows I really watch from week to week are Dragon Ball Super and The Walking Dead. And a lot of the other ones I just kind of wait on, or just do this, that, or the other, just kind of waiting on them to actually come on a Blu-ray and I'll buy them or anything like that. But honestly, this is awesome. I love actually having a reason to watch something else besides Dragon Ball Super every single week. So guys, if you aren't watching The Walking Dead, if you've taken some kind of a break on it or anything, please make sure to go check it out, because honestly, it is gearing up for something special and you aren't going to want to miss this, because it's going to be absolutely epic. So we will be covering more of Walking Dead going forward, but I hope everyone has a good day, and bye.